Hi, I'm Martin, and this video is about the modular sequencer, a simple step sequencer abstraction for pure data. All you need to start working with this is the modseq PD patch and its help patch. So if your main patch can see those two files, all you have to do is create a new object, type the name of the abstraction, mod_seq, and we can click anywhere in the patch. And we should see the graphical user interface. Now, these sequencers are MIDI ready. That means that we are now talking to the first MIDI channel and we have this toggle on. So we could set a simple sequence using these toggles. And since I have already set my MIDI connection to Ableton Live, all I gotta do is to start the sequencer with the main toggle. We can change every note for the different steps using this control. And also we can set MIDI notes for each one of the different steps in the sequence. If we want to know more about the controls, the inlets and the outlets, we could simply right-click on the abstraction, go to the Help button, and right away we're gonna open the help file. We can check out the different controls, we can understand different inlets and also the different outlets. We can also test it right in there. Now, the reason why this is a modular sequencer is because beside the MIDI notes that we can output, we can also generate in-patch banks using the different outlets. So, for example, we could create a new sequencer, mod_seq. We can use the same MIDI channel and we can create a new sequence, and actually we could use the random sequence button, and in this case we're gonna use the first outlet, which is a bank out corresponding with the first step, and we're gonna use this bank to trigger on and off the second sequencer. We can add a third sequencer, and in this case we can set, for example, the fourth outlet to the start of this one. We can create a new random sequence and we can start the chain. We can change the tempo of each individual sequencer. For example, this could be double time. And we can start creating, let's call them generative sequences, if we use, for example, different banks to the second to last inlet, which controls the random bank, and we can start making variations on this particular sequence. For example, we can add a new variation from the second step all the way up to the first sequencer. If I set it to the second MIDI channel, I have enabled a drum rack, so each of the different MIDI notes is going to be a percussion sound. I'm going to set it to 40. I can check my sequence. Okay, excellent. I can add a new sequencer as well to the second channel. I can create a different sequence, set it to 42 for example, and I could use a bang to set them both at the same time. We could add a number atom and connect it to the fourth inlet in order to set a BPM based tempo, for example 180. As well, we can start creating generative sequences if we connect to the random pattern inlet. Another way we could use this abstraction to really easily scale the number of voices or the number of sequences we could use in our project is using the clone object. In this example, I have created a new patch called mod_voice, and we have the modular sequence, and I'm using simple receive objects to be able to communicate with the different options of the sequencer. We have a receive for starting and stopping. We can change the tempo. We're gonna have a random for the different notes, a random pattern generator, and the ability to change the MIDI channel for each of the different objects. Now, once we create this voice patch, we could easily use the clone object. We use the name of the new patch, mod voice without the .pd, and the number of voices that we want to generate. In this case, for example, I can create 5 voices easily. And all I have to do is create different send objects to control the voices at the same time. So now I have created the send objects with matching names, and we can simply set all the different voices to address the second MIDI channel. We're gonna use a 120 beats per minute in the tempo, and we can create random patterns for each of the 5 voices. We're gonna set the random notes for each of the voice, and we can start each sequencer at the same time. Now the interesting part is that we could have any number of voices that we want. For example, we could easily have 10 different voices. We could use the advanced options of the clone object to address each individual voice as we want. But for now, we're gonna keep it simple. And that's it. If you want to play with the modular sequencer, the download link is in the description and you can get it from Patch Storage. Thank you very much and happy patching!